Good morning, everybody. You're listening to Jim White and Simon Jordan. We're live in Talk Sport. So wins for Manchester City and Newcastle, while Chelsea draw at Karabag. Is Maresca morphing into Tinkerman Ranieri? And are we seeing two different versions of Newcastle? Meantime, FIFA awarding their own Peace Prize to Donald Trump. Would it be ludicrous or smart politicking? Also today, can we confidently say Manchester City are indeed back? As tennis prepares for another battle of the sexes, is this format enticing or outdated? 39 years on, does anything rival the Sir Alex appointment? And from midday we talk boxing with fight pundit Spencer Oliver. 1 week out from Ben versus Eubank Jr., the rematch. Jim White and Simon Jordan, we're live in Talk Sport.
100% engagement.
Jim White and Simon Jordan on Talk Sport.
Now, what people don't know is how this man battles against all adversity and comes into his workplace. The door opens and I was tipped off by someone close to producer Luke that Simon's not feeling his best today. He's feeling a wee bit, not feeling 100%, you know, a little cold in the throat, etc., etc. You walk in, I look at you, and he mouths to me, "I feel like death." How are you?
Are you going to get on my bloody nerves?
If you're watching on TV, look at me now. Feigning interest. Feigning concern. How are you feeling?
Grotty, but
Right.
no working from home for the likes of us.
See, and for that, I applaud you.
Yes,
Absolutely
indeed.
right.
Indeed.
Working from home. That's not a phrase that goes down well with either Mr. White or Mr. Jordan. We're always in here. Simon, well done for being in, because we have a lot to get through, not least in the world of boxing. It is cranking up big time towards Ben Eubank 2. Well, I was about to say before you released that noise from his mouth, incidentally. Are you in any way getting interested in it this time?
No, look, I think it's
I think you will next week.
Well, you can think again then. The terminology unfinished business is the only thing that's unfinished about it. They didn't manage to rinse enough money out of people the first time round. Unfinished what? Fight was won. What we got returned for? What's the return for?
But look, you know it more than me. This is what happens in boxing.
Show business, absolutely.
But if Ben wins this time around, you know what's happening. There we are for the trilogy.
You can choreograph another one so that we can all sit there and rinse some more money out of it.
But that's boxing.
I think there's better things to be doing than watching Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank. I think there are more meaningful fights that both of them could have had with more substance. I don't begrudge them earning money. If people are foolish enough to want to put this kind of money in these two fighters' hands,
Yeah.
I know they turn around and say, "Oh, it was a wonderful fight. It was a wonderful fight. They left everything in the ring." So they should. I've seen just as good a fights in Witherspoons. So with due respect to the boxing profession.
Nonsense.
I think it's
You weren't there first time around. It was brilliant.
I watched it on the Sunday morning. I don't deny the spectacle. I don't deny the noise and the show business element of it. I don't deny Chris Eubank's innate ability to be able to be so charismatic in press conferences. He's overreached this time with his nonsense. But the fact is that I don't appreciate it. I don't value it as a fight. I don't value the circus around it. I don't buy into the nostalgia crap. I don't. And people can say I'm mean-spirited. I just have a different view of it. And so that means that everyone that goes to enjoy it, worry about your enjoyment. Don't worry about my lack of enjoyment.
You're clinging to this view. One man's view. I mean, are you more against it this time than you were the first time around?
I think a lot of people are not particularly enamoured by it. Ask Frank Warren what he thinks of it. People might say because he ain't got any skin in the game and ain't making any money out of it.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, I look at it and say, no.
Yeah.
I think there's an element of charlatan about this.
Yeah.
But other people will say, how can you say that? These two guys went in there and left everything in the ring. Well, what's that, a bonus for everybody? Is that a bonus for everybody that people go and pay a lot of money and reward these fighters way beyond their skills and way beyond their level and standing in boxing?
Can you deny that first time around that this fight actually lived up to the hype?
Well, I can't.
Come on,
I can't deny that with the spectacle and the fact that people are so gullible and so. Chris Eubank has turned up. Well, I wasn't surprised he turned up. I wasn't surprised. I wonder if he got paid to turn up. That would put a damper on everyone's nostalgia, wouldn't it? The fact of the matter is people like it, people appreciate it, and that's their business. And if I don't, it's my business.
Many messages are coming in, interestingly, all on the same theme. Jim, Simon has never set a foot inside Wetherspoons, ever,
Yes, I have.
says Mark.
Yes, I have.
So does Barry. So does Barry, the Spurs fan.
Well,
They're not having you in Wetherspoons.
I looked through the window and I thought, oh, not for me.
We'll get to the boxing later on this morning because the diminutive but very effective Spencer Oliver is going to be stepping into this studio around 12 noon, amongst others. You can look forward to a cracking boxing hour, I can assure you. It wasn't a cracking match as far as Chelsea were concerned in faraway Azerbaijan last night against Karabag. They came from behind to draw 2-2 with Karabag. The first time the Azerbaijani champions have taken a point off an English opponent at the 8th attempt. Incredible. Transfer expenditure since 2023. Chelsea 1.16 billion. Karabag 3.5 mil. I mean, it's unreal. Talk about a mismatch. In the world of boxing, this wouldn't have lasted a round, but it did, and it ended up a point apiece. I wonder if Enzo Maresca is morphing into Tinkerman Ranieri, Simon. He was asked post-match about why do you rotate so much? Why do you rotate so much? And then, surprisingly enough, the Club World Cup came into the conversation.
I think I tried to explain already many times. We have player. The intention tonight was to rest Enzo, to rest Moy, to rest Malo, to rest more players because they are not able to play every 3 days. They didn't recover from last season. As you said, the Club World Cup affect a lot. And we try to do, we try to rotate when you win. No one mentioned about that. I know that when we don't win, everyone is, focused on that. But now I think it's important to recover energy for Saturday and go again.
What do you think, Simon? Do you think we can expect plenty more mentions of the Club World Cup before this season is out?
Well, he seems as if he was responding to what someone said.
True.
So rather than actually bringing it up as an excuse, I don't think. I mean, Danny Murphy spoke about Karabag yesterday as being a very good outfit, and an outfit that, if you look at the record, have beaten Benfica recently. Now, we were raving about Benfica until Newcastle did a number of them a week ago. We've got to put things into context. I don't suspect it's that bad a result. But if Chelsea get into the top 16, by the way, which they are, and qualify for the Champions League, all this is background noise. PSG last year were very poor in the group stages and ended up coming through and winning the tournament and being now hailed as the best team in Europe, or arguably the best team in Europe.
Well, we often talk about where Chelsea are heading. And a couple of years ago, you said, in 2 or 3 years, they'll be knocking on the door of winning the Premier League. Yeah. Are they knocking on the door this season?
I mean, the other sides are very strong. Arsenal are very strong. Man City inevitably were going to regain their poise. Inevitably. You don't have that kind of wherewithal, that kind of seeded attainment, that kind of manager who might have been distracted with the situations in his private life last year in terms of, I think he was getting divorced and all kinds of things that might have taken him away from being focused and the rebuilding of a side. They're back into the groove. Liverpool will get back on the horse. They've done it recently in the last couple of games. Now, Chelsea, there's a point that in our brief here about Jamie Carragher's observations about the fact it's a project. I don't know if it's a project or not, but there seems to be more patience about it and more sort of not a laissez-faire attitude, but more balanced views on it. They've won the Club World Cup. Yeah. So they can't just say it's a project. They're not interested in winning things because they have won something. How much meaning you attach to that? It's kind of irrelevant. They have won something. But,
I think Jimmy questions the amount of urgency involved within Chelsea at the moment. If you become Club World Cup champions, next season you've got to be thinking about winning the domestic title, have you not? Sure, I like his words. Like? Just to dwell on his words for a second, Simon, you're right to mention it. Jamie Carragher says Chelsea should be title contenders and considered Champions League contenders, challengers this season. Instead, their hierarchy seems content to be praised for being the smartest recruiters in the business. The world's richest development club.
Sorry, at what point has anybody actually come out and said that Chelsea are the world's best recruiters? What people have said repeatedly is how much money are these people going to spend?
Well, what did the man at the top, Todd Bowley, say after they won the Club World Cup? I'll tell you what he said. This is what he said to us.
We always knew that, whatever happens on any given day, and, the odds, that we thought what we had and were able to round out with a piece or two, really, put the boys and really understanding, what Enzo's been doing. We're big believers. We knew all along in the value of the project. And so, I think obviously it came together brilliantly. And those are just odds that you can't predict, but we're hopeful that every day we wake up, the odds are that, Chelsea is going to win something big.
Good, that cleared all that up then.
You would have thought that last night, going into the game against Karabag, that they'll win that. And this morning they're waking up and think they're going to win something big as well.
But it's a group stage. Their job is to get out of the table, out of the first 16 places and get into the competition.
Can you disagree with Carragher when he says until they get back to those days, they will go into every season content to qualify for and participate in the Champions League rather than believe they should be winning it?
But I'd like to know what he means by that, because there was a score.
Well, he means it's good to be in it. It's another question winning it.
But how do you know that their urgency isn't there to win it? It's a statement based upon outcomes rather than intent. I would have thought their intent was pretty bloody evident. They spent more money than anybody else. What's that for then? Now, there is an American mentality, we know this, which is about participation and making sure that revenue is generated, because Arsenal suffered from it for years with the thought process that are there.
Yeah, but when Abramovich arrived, though, Simon, it was, we're going to win big things, and I tell you when, now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What happened at the end of that then? You've got a football club that nearly went out of existence because Abramovich was sanctioned by world events, and you've got a whole raft of allegations about Chelsea's inappropriate conduct in terms of paying people the wrong way.
Do you not get the impression, though, that the pressure or maybe the urgency with which Chelsea should win something big again has maybe dissipated a bit?
Well, do I get the impression that no one's shouting from the rooftops from inside Chelsea about the necessity to win the Premier League now? Yeah, that's evident, because Maresca spent the entire time last year telling everybody that they weren't ready.
Yeah.
And you hear nothing from the Chelsea management about winning things, albeit you've heard something from Todd Bowley, albeit as sort of obtuse as it was, very general, because he's following in from the Club World Cup and talking about the fact that they've always believed. Of course they believe that they're going to win something. Of course they believe and have invested. The argument would be, if the argument was made, Chelsea really don't match pound for pound what other football clubs do. They're really not showing the prerequisite amount of ambition. What you're seeing is a Chelsea side that isn't good enough to compete at this moment in time with an Arsenal side that's taken 6 years to build. It's taken 6 years to Arsenal to get Arteta into a position where he can win this competition now. And in that period of time, they've won one FA Cup, which people would argue was Unai Emery's team in the first place.
So do you think at this stage in the proceedings, in November, Chelsea have a more than good chance of winning the Champions League?
It depends who they play and who they draw.
Do they have a more than good chance of winning the Premier League?
Depends. No, I don't think so this year. No, I don't think
so. It's another year of kicking on.
But that's because there's an element of the Chelsea don't operate in a vacuum, and Arsenal and Liverpool and Manchester City are further ahead for whatever reason it's been allowed to drift. Whatever reason, there was a 2-year period where, Potter came in, it was a bit of a mess. Lampard came in and don't know what happened there for whatever purpose.
Yeah.
You had 6 months where the club was in disarray because of the circumstances surrounding the Abramovich sanctioning. And all of those things have contributed to a slight sea change. But if you've spent more money than everybody else put together to some extent, how can you deny the fact that the club's got some degree of urgency about achieving things? Because you're spending... What's the purpose of spending money then? Why are you spending more money than everybody else? Why are you buying everybody on the market, going out and deciding to buy Argentinian club captains and paying 105 million for them, or going getting this and going after every player?
I just think after winning the Club World Cup, there was a feeling out there, right, watch us go. Watch us go. Well, we're watching. But you can't go if you go to Karabag and you draw 2-2.
Why? It's a group stage game. If you can get through the group stages into the 16, why? PSG did the same thing. What's the difference?
So at the moment, where will they go? They're 12th in the Champions League and 7th in the Premier League. Yeah. How will it finish up? Will they win one or both?
I don't think they'll win either.
See, there we go.
But they might
what kind of season does that equal?
Well, in comparison with the past, I imagine that people could make the comparison to suggest that the urgency, or whatever the urgency looked like, the landscape was very different.
Yeah.
You've got different amount of competition in the marketplace now. You've got different amount of sides. You've got a different setup than you had 21 years ago when Abramovich walked through the door and bought the Premier League via Jose Mourinho.
Well, let's put it out there to the Chelsea fans listening this morning, Simon, and there are many, judging by the messages actually coming in. What kind of season do you expect this season under Maresca? Here we are into November, and I've told you where you are in the Champions League and where you are in the Premier League race. Is it a season of kicking on, or is it a season of further consolidation? 03717 223344 81089, and just a medical update into me here from Simon's GP. Nothing wrong with them. It's 10:15.